Hey guys, what's up Inner Circle? Hey Danielle, good up. What's up Alexis, Sarah, Larissa, Philip, Rebecca, Donna Kennedy, what's going on? Alexis, I always love that background you got there, all the colors. What's going on, Jim? Rice, Lloyd? Hey guys, Heather Gerard, what's going on? Hey everybody, welcome to the Inner Circle. I know this is a crazy, crazy month. I don't know about you guys. Man, January just came in like a storm. Got lots of amazing things going on, but how could I miss being with you guys? This was the only time that we could fit it in, but it was on the calendar, even though today is busy. Lots going on today, but we're going to have an amazing message. Kick off the day in a big way. You guys ready for a killer day? Some inspiration, some motivation, some tactics, right? You know what I love about this group? I love the connectivity, right? Think about, you know, I'm going to digress here. I've been doing this Inner Circle. Now it's a part of Mastermind. You are a Mastermind family. Inner Circles I've been doing for about a decade. And remember, Inner Circle, this used to be $97 a month just for this. And I love this family. Some of you have been with me for a decade, which is amazing. Who's brand new? Who's here maybe for the first time? Raise your hand. A few brand new people. So anybody else? Family, welcome the new people in. Let them know we're here. I want to give you a little context of what Inner Circle is. Inner Circle, I've been going live once a month for almost a decade. You guys have a library of these, so if you're brand new, you should be checking out the library. I would consume one a week, or consume the topics that are aligned with what you need right now. But the way I look at each month is I run 3 different companies. I've been doing this for a long time. I have hundreds and hundreds of people I'm responsible for and employees, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying because I'm in the thick of it. I'm not somebody who used to run my businesses. I'm still the CEO, I'm still the leader, I'm still a part of the marketing, I'm still a part of the training, still a part of directing the coaches and all the things that we do. So I'm in the game. Simultaneously, I have a family and 4 children and a wife, and I want to have more freedom and time. I also have insecurities. I've failed miserable in the past. I still have things that I'm getting over from childhood. So I wrap all that together, right? Michael Adams, I see you laughing at me, right? I wrap all that together, and then each month I really obsess on what is the topic that I can deliver to you guys to help you continue to move forward. Sometimes it'll be a marketing strategy. Sometimes it'll be a campaign. Other times, like today, I want to go over 2 topics to really dial in. It's still January. Like, we have to dial in this year, right? We know it's a crazy year. We know there's a lot of uncertainty out there. We can't attack this year in defense. We can't attack this year with lack of confidence. We can't attack this year unless we're bold. Isn't that true? So why I love a group like this, Connie, good to see you. Tim, good to see you. Why I love a group like this is because you're staying connected. You're staying plugged into something. Who knows it's scarier when you're out there trying to figure it out on your own? Right? So that's why I love this group. I love the opportunity. Listen, as a part of Mastermind, you have a new course every month. Anybody see the new trainings from Jenna Kutcher that we released? Oh my God, aren't they good? Isn't Jenna awesome? Right? And next month, another amazing course. I go live every Monday. Who's watching my Monday lives? Right? And then we got this every month, and you have access to the library. And if you knew what we are preparing for you guys at Mastermind, we want to make this spot where you're truly connected, right? Of course, you can build your course, launch your course, but we want to go transcend that. We want to make it the place that whenever you need something, that's where you go. And we're on our way. And I want to let you guys know you're grandfathered in for life. You guys, as you're a part of it, you are here for life. We are going to add more stuff and probably raise the price. Not you guys, you're in. So I just want to say congratulations for having faith in us, for being a part of this family, for being with us every month. It's amazing. And today, I'm stoked to share kind of behind the curtain on a few things. So first off, we had in our Mastermind company, last week we flew in. We used to be an in-person company. Want to hear something crazy? I built this office where this studio lives. It's our Mastermind headquarters. It's pretty huge. I built it for 150 employees. I bought a building on a great road in Scottsdale, Arizona. We gutted the whole thing. We spent a year creating like the office of your dreams, right? Like big, beautiful kitchen and place for everybody. I got foosball and ping pong and shuffleboard. And like all in. I'm not kidding you. Danielle, thank you. You've seen it. So we went all in on this. We built this state-of-the-art studio. Well, this wasn't here. So we get all done. We have about 100 people in the office, and we were just like high-fiving, eating. I'm bringing in catering food. I'm like, this is the energy to take our culture to another level. And 3 months in, COVID came. And now we are a virtual company. And I have the most beautiful office with me and about 9 people every day. And it is amazing. But we shifted and we became a virtual company. We built this amazing studio so I could see hundreds and hundreds of you every single week. And it's been incredible and no regrets. I love it. But what we did last week, why he's like, okay, Dean, that's cool, but what's this got to do with me? I want to get give me my fix. Right in the other room, we have a room where we can mastermind. Some of you have been in it. I see Danielle's here. Some other people have been in this room. It's a killer room just set up for masterminding. Helen, I know you were here. Good to see you, Helen. I flew in all of our leaders from around the country. It was like 25 leaders. This company is growing so much. I'm so proud of this team and this company. And as we were here, we were going through each department. And it was so great to see that they were so focused on you guys. Like everything we did is like, oh, I'm running innovation for Mastermind. I think these 2 things would really help our clients because I've read 3,200 messages in the last 3 months and this one thing could really help. And someone's working on an initiative here and another initiative there and there's customer support and our coaches and marketing and innovation and copywriters and social media teams. It was really awesome. And we had a theme, and I'm getting to a theme. And it came from Tanner, my nephew. I have one sister, and he is 30. I'm also his godfather, and he came to work for me for about a decade ago. And Tanner is just the most valuable employee. I mean, so valuable. We have so many valuable employees. They're all valuable. Tanner is one of the very valuable employees, just like the rest of them. But he's been kind of my right hand for a long time. So, I couldn't function without him. Don't tell him that, please. His head is already big enough. Unbelievable. So I'm kidding and not. But Tanner made a transformation in the last 6 months. And I promise this starts with my teaching. And if you guys are brand new, please know I tell more personal stories on my inner circle than any other place because I feel like this is family. If we're going to be together every month, I don't want to just be the guy that gets on a whiteboard and says, do this, do this, do this. I want to build a connection. I want you to know, like, and trust me and know what I'm sharing with you is not just stuff to hear myself talk. It's the things that actually shifted my life. So many times people say to me, Dean, how'd you get successful? And they're waiting for this magical, oh, let me show you. Oh, this one thing. It's not. The little things have accumulated to become the big things. Does that make sense? So when I share these, I'm not just sharing to hear myself talk or to tell you about a story. I want you to see how when this becomes a part of you, it's impossible not to go to the next level. You will persist till you succeed. You will face uncomfortable action. You will be bold. You will be courageous. And you will keep going until you reach the level of life you desire. And that's my job. You're a part of Mastermind. I feel obligated to give you what I believe is the greatest tool. So I hope you trust me. For those of you who've been with me for a long time, you know I never steer you down the road. But what I want to say with Tanner, where he had the biggest transformation in 6 years, is Tanner, without realizing it, sometimes when he got stressed, when he had too much overwhelm, he would resort to a person that seemed stressed or put his head down or snap at somebody or say, and what he didn't realize is that his inner perspective of himself wasn't the same as how people perceived him. So I've never taught this before, but I want to tell you, I have a gentleman who I hired as a consultant and now he's a team member. He's an amazing man. He's built some of the, I won't say it, but he's built some of the biggest companies in the world and you know some of them. You probably use some of them. He was retired. I begged him out of retirement and I asked him to come in to help with our culture because he's obsessive on culture. And he took Tanner on as like a project about 6 months ago. And what the theme is that I want to talk about tonight is this. Today. He said, Tanner, we know the brand of the company. So let's talk about the brand that most all of you want to build. Who in here wants to build a brand? Like a brand that everybody recognizes, that's making you money, that gives you freedom, right? You want to build a brand. He said, you're working with Dean and the team to build the most amazing brand on the world, mastermind.com. Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. Oh my God, what an amazing brand. He said, but what's your personal brand? That's the question I want to ask you today. He said, you can't build an outside brand until you know your personal brand. And I never used that terminology before. I just want to tell you, you've never heard me say that. I've never asked you what's your personal brand ever before. And it was so transformative to Tanner that I watched it trickle down through hundreds of employees because he changed his personal brand. And some of the things were, I believe, a personal brand. I think, so a couple things I wrote down. We must be aware of how we react to others, right? So again, this will tie into business and life, but we must be aware of how we react to others. When Ray, the gentleman that works with us, challenged Tanner on that, he's like, I react fine. I react accordingly. He said, but I want you to be aware. I want you to see. I want you to look for triggers of things that might not align with your thoughts, and how are you reacting to others? And when Tanner did this, he's like, wow, I'm not reacting in the way I thought I'd react. And then the second question is, how are you reacting to others? The other was, how are you training people to react to you? How are you training people to react to you? If let's just say, you want your husband to get on board with what you're doing, and every time you go to tell him, if he's not completely interested, you snap on him. I can't believe you don't support me. I supported you. What the hell? I need this. You know, all of a sudden, he's going to be so edgy and nervous around those questions that without realizing, we're teaching people how to react back to us, and it becomes a negative loop. So I know this might sound like this is a weird inner circle. I promise this is going someplace. So when Tanner started saying to himself, I must be aware of how I react to people, and then how do I train others to react to me, that was only the precursor to awareness. And I'd love for you all to all write that down. One of the biggest secrets of life is awareness, isn't it? Awareness of our shortcomings, awareness of our own blind spots, awareness where we have challenges and we don't want to admit it, awareness where we have prejudices, awareness that we have sensitivity. Did you ever see Tony talk about when you have a cut, right? If you rub that cut really bad, it gets really sensitive. Who knows they have something sensitive that your spouse, friend, somebody says something and you're just like, but you know what mine was when I started to become successful? People would say to me, must be nice, or lucky bastard. Like, you got lucky, or it must be nice. Do you know what that feels like when I worked 80-hour weeks most of my life, struggling, trying to figure it out, and then someone says, oh, you got lucky. That was so like, I could bite someone's head off. Like, I wanted to be a T-Rex and just, right? But we all have all of our own things. So awareness is so, such a powerful word, because then, so I was talking about, must be aware of how we react to others. We must be aware of how we train others to react to us, because we could be in a negative cycle, in a negative loop with somebody and not realize. And if we are aware, guess what? We can stop it. If we're aware, we can stop it. So I want to tell you how this transcends down. See, we are not, and I wrote this down, your brand, your personal brand. We're talking about personal brand. And then we're going to trickle that up into setting some goals in your regular business. So let me just rant on this for the first time in my life. It was so impactful to our whole team. It evolved to this. Our personal brand is not who we are when everything is going well. Hear me on this. Our personal brand is not who we are when everything is going well. Our real brand is who we are under pressure. Our real brand are the actions that happen when things aren't perfect, the things we say. That's when our real brand comes out, right? You know how they always say your next level lives on the other side of the other thing you're fearful of? I believe our next level of life lives on the other side of us recognizing and being aware of who we are when things aren't perfect. We're never judged when things are right. When my daughter was 10 years old, she wanted to quit softball. She won 4 games in a row as a pitcher. And then they went and played that team. Anybody remember that team? You have kids that played sports? Remember when you played that team and you're like, did those kids drive here? I thought they were 10. All the parents are saying silly stuff like they look 6 foot tall and that guy's got a beard. You know, all the silly mom and dad silly talk. And it's that team. My daughter won 3-4 games in a row. We go play that team. These girls look like they were 20. Our girls were little. My daughter pitched, she got destroyed. I remember to this day, we walked out in the parking lot. She came, I had an SUV, the lid was up, I was putting her bag in. She breaks down and starts crying. She's like, Dad, I don't want to play anymore. I listened. She's like, I don't want to play anymore, Dad. Crying, 10, 12, probably 12 years old. Crying hysterical, I don't want to play anymore. And I said, why? She's like, that was horrible. And this is what she said to me. Picture your 10 or 11-year-old daughter crying to you. She was born on my birthday. She's Daddy's little girl. She's my first child. And she looked at me, she said, Dad, this is too much pressure for a 12-year-old. That's her exact words that will ring in my heart for the rest of my life. And I'm like, oh, God. And I just looked at her and I said, kid, I am so sorry you feel that way and your emotions are real. But I promise you, if you stick with this, you're going to learn more from this game today than those 3 that were super easy that you just plowed over them last week. No, I won't. I said, I know it's hard to understand. You're 11 years old. I said, but all those things I've been sharing with you for so long. I said, I promise you if you stick with it. I said, you have a choice at this moment. I want you to hear me. This is a true story with my daughter. I said, you have a choice at this moment. Quit. You got to do a sport. Whatever it is, you got to do a sport. Quit. Go do another sport. Start over someplace else. But I promise you'll be in the same spot again in whatever else you try. And you're at that pivotal moment of saying, this is not for me. I want to quit. I don't want to live into my dreams. It's too much work. Or screw that. I do not. That's why I looked at it. I said, or you could say, and I probably said screw that. I looked right now. You could say, screw that. I am never going to feel this way again. This feels like shit, and I'm going to do what it takes not to feel this way. So I said, you got 2 options. Bail or start practicing more. That's your option. She had about 2 days. She was young, preteen. Walked around. 2 days later, she came to me. She said, Dad, do you think we could get that personal coach 2 days a week instead of 1? And then would you catch for me twice a week? My daughter went on a freaking tirade for like 6 weeks, obsessive. She didn't lose many games for the rest of the year. It was only young, 10, 11-year-old games. But she crushed it. She did not want that feeling again. But how many people at that moment of pressure, our personal brand, do I want my daughter to have the personal brand is, man, when I win games, woo, I love it. When I lose games, screw that, I'm quitting. That would have been my daughter's personal brand, right? I feel great that we made some shifts. I feel great. And listen, she's dealing with it right now. She's in 10th grade. She is practicing with the varsity team right now. They practice for 3 weeks and then they do tryouts in February. That's like 3 weeks from now. There's already 3 girls that were pitching on varsity and they're in 11th and 12th grade. My daughter's a 10th grader. She came home, I think I told you guys, maybe I told you last month or last week or somewhere when we talked. But 2 weeks ago, she came home, she goes, Dad, these girls are so good. They're so much bigger. They're so much stronger. Dad, I don't know. 6 years later, same conversation. I said, Bree, who do you want to be known for? I said, yeah, you've been practicing now, playing for 6 years. You got a little competition. You should just quit. She's like, Dad, don't say that. I'm like, what's the alternative, kid? We are who we are. That's what I tell my kids all the time. We are who we are when no one's watching. No one's watching right now. You want to quit? How do you think that's going to, how we do one thing is how we do everything. If you don't like softball anymore, quit. Figure something else out. Go play tennis. I don't care, whatever you want to do. But you like softball. You like winning. I can't promise you that you're going to get that slot on the varsity team. I can't. But I know for a fact you won't get it with a mindset like that. I know for a fact you won't get it if you don't go all in. I know for a fact if you keep telling yourself shitty-ass stories, you're not going to make it. That's just a fact, Bree. That's the way life works. So until the day the coach says you didn't make it, you play your guts out. You take uncomfortable action. You be bold, even though there's no proof. You be bold, even though there's 3 people that have a spot. Because I'd rather go down swinging than guessing. I said that about Matthew McConaughey. We're doing some cool stuff with him, by the way. You guys will be the first family members to know. We're doing something cool with Mastermind. How cool is that? If you read Green Lights, anybody read Green Lights, the book? If you didn't, you should listen to it. It's so good. Top 10 books of all time. Got to listen to Green Lights because he reads it in such a charismatic way. It's so cool. When you get done with Green Lights, you're going to say, damn, what's next? Mastermind and Matthew McConaughey are creating what's next. How cool is that? But he always says, and I love this about him, he said, man, my biggest fear, and I'm not going to try to talk like him, even though in my head I'm hearing his voice. He He said, man, my biggest fear is the not knowing. My biggest fear, and I stole that from him this week with my daughter. I said, you know what my biggest fear for you is, Bree? I sounded really smart. I didn't tell her it came from Matthew McConaughey. I said, you know what the coolest thing is? I said, the worst thing that can happen, Bree, is you don't go all in. No, I can't do it, Jessica. I'm just saying I can't. You know what the worst thing would be? Is if you don't go all in, you don't make it, and you never know. Wow. You don't go all in. You don't make it. You don't know. Because your whole life, you know what you say? What if? What if? So it made me think when I was talking about this personal brand, man, I want my kids to have a personal brand in school. Yeah, you're right, Daniel. What if will kill you. I want people in school to say, damn, that Brianna, she didn't make the team, but she's a freaking hustler. You know what I told her to do? She's like, I said, when they say go to the outfield, be the first one out in the outfield. This is the advice I gave her. When it's time to clean up faster than anybody else. Don't be flat-footed ever. Be the fastest runner, be the quickest one. Every sprint, win the sprint. My daughter's super fast. Win every sprint. When they say run to the fence and back, be in first place. You miss a ball, I would take a hustler. Ready for this? I would take a B player that's a hustler over an A player that procrastinates or plays small. I would always take a hustler because that's someone who's got determination. They got grit. They want it bad. So I digressed a little bit with some daughter stories, but I guess the fact of the matter is, what if the next month until we're together, you really looked into who your personal brand is? How do you act under pressure? This was one that got Tanner. Ray said, under pressure, Tanner, not when everything's great. If I went and asked 10 employees, how does Tanner react under pressure? What would they say? That was Tanner's breakthrough. He's like, well, I think they'd see me be short. They'd see me get overwhelmed. They'd see me put my hand on my head and go, ugh. And Ray said, is that the characteristics of a leader? He said, Tanner, if you want to be, I want you to hear this. Hey, Cameron, good to see you. He said, I want you to hear this. He said, Tanner, if you want to be the company's biggest doer, the guy that gets shit done bigger, faster, better than anyone, then stay on the same path and keep getting stuff done. But you raised your hand and said you wanted to be a leader of this company. And I want him to be a leader in this company. Because you want to be a leader, then you better know who the hell you are when no one's watching. Because that's your real brand. Who the hell you are when pressure comes. That's your real brand. So what's your real brand? He said, I currently look like a guy that can't handle pressure. Therefore, I don't look like a leader. I swear to God, it wasn't gradual. It's like he came in on a Monday as a different man. Like he's so much more pleasant for me to deal with. Like I can't even tell you, like we are going to go to a whole nother level in this company. He's so beautiful to deal with. So there's some times where I didn't even realize you guys have people in your life, or maybe you to someone else, that like if they're under pressure, you don't even want to text them because you might get a snappy remark. Or you're under the pressure and Sophia, I see you smiling. You're under the pressure and somebody texts you or calls you and you snap back at them, right? These are the things we get to acknowledge. These are the things we get to look at, because does our personal brand affect our business brand? Yes or no? Does our personal brand affect our business brand? Of course, right? I see you, James Hoover. What's up, man? Good to see you. Because think of this. Think of Tanner's personal brand. If you were someone who can't handle pressure in your personal life, can you handle pressure in a business life? Right? So sometimes we got to start in here. You're looking for the marketing to be perfect, or the course to come in, or the clicks to start coming in, but we haven't worked on this brand. You're getting too edgy for the wrong things. Or if someone in your life is like, oh, you're trying to be a coach, you're trying to launch a course, so good luck with that. And you get edgy and pissed, and that puts you in a funk for 2 weeks. How the hell are you ever going to film that elegant video from your heart where you really care when you're in your head thinking about your partner who is judging you about the thing you want to do. These are the little things. You know, there might be some of you on right now going, yeah, I love this, but tell me how to make the money. I am. Tell me how to be happy or successful. I am. It's just coming in a different way. It's coming in the way that after I'm 54, in being in business since I was 16 years old, I feel so blessed that it finally got to me, and I wish someone would have shaken me. I always used to say, remember, you guys know I say it a lot in the course and everything, like, could you imagine if you could go back and spend an hour a day with your 20-year-old self? Don't you wish you knew this stuff? Right, Kathleen? Like, would you go back to your 20-year-old self and said, let me tell you about this headline and this funnel thing. And don't worry about relationships. Don't worry about, no, let me tell you about how to build a funnel. That's not what you would say to your 20-year-old self. Those things are all important. We need the tactics. We need the strategy. We know how to build a course or whatever it is you want to do and launch it. We need all that. But if we don't have this dialed, you wouldn't go back to your 20-year-old self and say, let me tell you the 6 steps to building a headline. Let me teach you about hook, story, close. Hell no. You'd go back and say, stop listening to negative people. Stop doing what your parents want. Don't date that wrong person. Be yourself. Whether that's being single, being gay, being this, being that, be you right out of the gate. Be strong, be brave, be bold, and you want to do your own business. Who gives a shit that you have a 6-year degree? You don't love it. So piss it off and start fresh. Live on the streets before you live under someone else's thumb. Like, that's the kind of stuff you would say to yourself. So, if you would say to that self, why not start today? Right? Why not start today? It's never too late. So many times people think, I wish I would have. Screw, I wish I would have. Did you ever see the thing of Colonel Sanders? He was like 70 years old when he came up with Kentucky Fried Chicken. I know that's an extreme example, but every day is a new day. Every day is a new day for us to start fresh. And the story of Tanner and watching his transformation, if it helps one of you guys today, then it's absolutely my pleasure to be able to share that story. Because I think if we work on this brand, if we realize who we are and what makes us tick even more, if we take our awareness to another level, I think your business brand will exponentially grow faster than you can ever imagine. I want to share one more thing. Do you guys mind if I share personal stuff? I mean it. I'm not planning this, but I have to tell you, I was in a relationship with my previous wife, who's the mother of my older children, Brianna and Brody. We are dear friends, not kind of friends, dear friends. We co-parent like nobody's business. But I have to tell you, I was in that relationship for a long time, and so was she, and neither one of us really wanted to be in it, but both of us come from divorced families. We didn't want to let our kids down. So we found a way to be friends and co-parents. But I have to tell you, my life wasn't aligned. I was living a little bit of a lie. Because I woke up every day thinking I should end this relationship. Every day for years. I bet you she did too. And I'm not an advocate of divorce. Please know that. I'm not an advocate. And I'm admitting my own mistakes in here. It wasn't her. It was a collectiveness of mistakes, right? But I lived that every day. And I just thought, I'm never going to tell anybody if it's good, bad, or I don't talk about my personal life. If any of you have been with me for over 6 years, if you remember this guy 6 years ago prior, I've been doing this for 25 years, I never talked about my personal life. I didn't talk about my relationship. I didn't talk about my marriage because it wasn't ideal. So I wasn't going to come on. I didn't want to be one of those guys saying, oh, my perfect life. It's like, no. But I kept it kind of hidden. And I felt a little lonely. I remember New Year's Eve. This is really personal. New Year's Eve is always thinking, I'm married, I'm in my house, and I feel lonely. It was weird. I'm sure some of you have been in this spot like that, right? But I want to tell you, because my personal brand from the outside, I was in this industry. I wrote Totally Fulfilled. I wrote my book on real estate that sold 1 million copies. I was the #1 real estate trainer on the planet. I was out there. I was friends with Tony Robbins. I'm out on the stages of 20,000 people, and I'm sharing this life of success and fulfillment and abundance. And meanwhile, on New Year's Eve, I'm thinking to myself, I feel like the loneliest man alive. I don't feel happy. I'd go on stage in front of 20,000 people. I'd go back to my hotel room and sometimes be emotionally sad because I felt so alone because I didn't have a connection in a relationship. Now, this is way more information than I ever share anyplace else. Why am I sharing that? I'm hoping to help just one person because I wasn't congruent with the brand I was in the outside world and the personal brand I had. They weren't aligned. Even though I was insanely successful, I was doing well. When I finally had the bravery, and so did my previous wife, had the bravery to come together and say, this isn't working. Let's just figure out to be badass co-parents and go do and find our true lives. When we had the nerve to do that, when I faced that fear of separating my kids and only seeing them half the time where I had anxiety and worry, but when I faced that and said, I want my outside brand to match my inside. When I'm under pressure, I want to be the same human. I'm telling you, when I made that bold move, and I'm not telling anybody to leave a relationship, I'm just saying about making bold moves and being in alignment. When my outside world matched my inside, everything changed in my life. And those of you that have been with me for a decade, you might see it. I'm so happy in love with my wife. That never would have happened if I didn't make a bold move. I wouldn't be unfaithful to my wife, not even unfaithful. I wouldn't even want my wife to think that I would look at someone else. I love her so damn much and I want her to love me that way. I do things every single day to strengthen my relationship. I didn't even think that stuff was possible. I'm a better dad to my older kids. I'm a better friend to my previous wife. I found a way to love me, and here's the best thing. The best gift I could give my wife or a friend or my children. And it took me a long time to get here, so please know I'm not preaching. And if you knew me a decade ago, I would have never wanted this because I had things I didn't want other people to know about my life. So can I just say that? Right now, if my wife hired a private investigator and said, film everything he does for a whole week, if my wife watched that video, she'd love me more. If my wife went through every text message, every DM, every Facebook, every video, every message I did, she'd love me more. If my kids saw the way I talk about them when they're not around, they'd be proud of their dad. If friends in my life said, what kind of friend is he? And they had a hidden camera on me, I could be confident to say we'd be better friends. And if you, having faith in me to be a part of a mastermind and be a part of this team, if you saw the way I talked about you when I'm in the other room, the things we obsess on to make things better, to get you a course every month, to be with you, to do all these things, you'd love being a part of this family even more. It took me to 54 years old to figure this shit out. And guess what's happened since I aligned that way? My income last year doubled compared to my best year ever in history. Doubled. And the year before that, it doubled. I have had a double in 2 years. And we're going into a recession, and I have real estate companies, I have multiple companies. They're all doing amazing. Why? Because I think my inside brand, my heart matches the man I am on the outside. And I don't know how to explain it to you. It's just the greatest gift in the world. It's the best feeling in the world. So when Tanner went through this and I watched it, it just struck a chord in me. And literally, this is my presentation for you today. I don't know if you could see. It's like 7 pages. My team does research on things I want to share. None of this is on my sheet today. But this is what hit my heart and that's what Inner Circle is all about. I promise I'll share this one next week or next month. But maybe over the next 30 days, you can really say, where am I not seeing my own blind spots? Where can you question your own thinking? Question your own beliefs? One of the biggest things I've ever shared, or the biggest breakthroughs I ever had, is being stuck in a success trap. You should write that down. What the hell is a success trap? See, if something fails, isn't it easy to get out of? Isn't it easy to change something if it doesn't work? Stop doing it, right? A success trap is something that got you to the level of success where you are now. But if you keep doing it, it won't allow you to transcend to your next level. So it's hard to stop it. Man, being obsessive, being right to the point, not trusting people, doing my own thing, being my own man, being my own woman, it got me to this level of success. But will that attitude work trying to run a team? All me, my thing. No. You got to go from me to we. So sometimes the success that got you out of Egypt, the strategy that got you out of Egypt, is not the strategy or the success tactic that takes you to the promised land. And unless you recognize that, you will be in a hypnotic rhythm of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. This is just a day of stories, a day of being more transparent. My dad's been married 5 times. True story. And he's single. And he's 86. And I think my dad would be an incredible husband to somebody now. But in 5 marriages that didn't work, there was one common denominator. My dad. It always ended up being someone else's fault, but my dad just brought his same self back to the next relationship. It's easy when everybody's dating and in love and it's lustful and blissful in the beginning, but then after 6 months or a year when that fades off and you become the person that, your personal brand, my dad went back to the personal brand that doesn't keep him married. And it took my dad till he was 81, 82 years old to come to me and go, why didn't I listen to you sooner? God, I brought the same jackass, Paul, his name's Paul, I brought the same jackass to the next relationship and thinking it's going to be better. It took him till he was 81 years old to figure that out. I'm not saying you're my dad. I love my dad, right? For all of his flaws and all of his gifts. But I have to say this. Sometimes we have to look in the mirror and say, what are the things am I doing to me that are self-sabotaging? How am I ruining the relationships? How am I not trusting myself? How am I treating others when I'm stressed? How am I being perceived? If you can figure that out in your own life, I'm telling you, business exponentially grows. My biggest fear in life would be that you know this guy and you meet me on the street and I'm some jackass yelling at my wife or being mean to my kids or rude to you if I met you in an elevator. Man, that would be but there's people like that. That's why they don't last. So, sorry today I digressed away from what I was going to share. But I just felt it in my heart, and I shared more stories today than I have ever shared. So thank you for listening, and I hope it helped. Here's some of the things I did want to share. So I'm going to put like a line. So that was building your own brand. Who's ready to take their own personal brand to another level? The hardest part will be awareness. Some people say don't judge others. You might want to judge yourself for the next couple of weeks and just see where those blind spots are. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about. Who was a part of my New Year's training? You guys a part of that 3-hour training? Wasn't that awesome? I said it was awesome. I did it, but it was awesome because the energy was good. It was just an amazing 3 hours. I had a blast. My wife was a part of it. She absolutely loved it. And I just know in January, if we look at history, 80% of people by the end of January, their New Year's resolutions, they've already forgot about them and they're moving on. Isn't that terrible? So I'm going to be a little bug in your ear all year long. And that's why I'm glad we get to go live together every month, because I'm going to be that thorn in your side. I'm going to remind you you have dreams. I'm going to remind you to take uncomfortable action. I'm going to remind you that we're a culture of progress. I'm going to remind you of all the tools you have in Mastermind at your fingertips, a new course every month. You got 4 years worth of trainings like this that you could be accessing. You have 20 courses from other people. Like you got tools. I'm going to be the nudge to say, stop looking the other way. Stop settling. Let's do this. Whether it takes you 2 years, 5 years, or 2 months, let's freaking do this. The next 5 years is going to go by anyway, right? It's going to go by anyway. We might as well grow and grow together. But sometimes, and this is the part I'm going to spend the next 15 minutes on. Sometimes what we have to do is we have to break down our goal and then go deep and focus on one. So let's give an example. Who has a goal, maybe, would like to get more traction on a social media platform? Raise your hand if you'd like to get more traction on a social media platform, right? Okay. So your goal in January might be, I want more traction on Instagram, or I want to have 1,000 followers on Instagram, 5,000, whatever your number is, right? And then you put that on your goal, and then by January, you're like, man, there's nothing coming in, and I did that one extra live, shit didn't work. And it fades, right? What I'm going to encourage you to do, the important goals, is let's just take 10, 12 minutes here and let's go deeper on it. On each one, I'm going to pick social media. So many people raised your hand. So if you wanted to go deeper on social media, what could you do over the next 30 days to make that happen? What if you said, over the next 2 days, I'm going to write down 30 topics that I want to talk about in the next 30 days. 30 topics, 30 headlines. Put in the chat, I see Pam. How are you, Pam? Good to see you. Financially fit divorce. Is that what that's what you're thinking? So you're helping people not get ruined when they get a divorce. Is that true? Right? What you see so many times happen. Did you go through something like that? And could you pull up Pam Friedman? Pam, do you mind jumping on with me? Pull up Pam Friedman. She's right to the right of the screen. Financially fit divorce. Hey, Pam.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Can you hear me?
I can surely hear you. Good to see you. So,
oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you.
Well, good to see you. Thanks for being. I've seen you before. I recognize the name and the face. So good to have you here, Pam. So do you help women, men, both?
I will help both, but I'm marketing to women.
Okay, great. So I just picked you because you had your title on that. Well, it was pretty cool. So you raised your hand when I said who'd like more social media followers. I think you had both hands up. You were like this, right?
Yes.
So here's what happens, and I don't need you. I'm just sharing. Here's what happens is we put that goal down, and then without realizing, we're still kind of dabbling to reach our goal, right? So if you said, hey, I want to focus on this. I want to double the amount of followers I have. I want to quadruple. I want to hit 1,000 people. I would set goals like this. So financially fit divorce. So you want to help people, women probably more so, just not be completely ruined after a divorce, which we've all seen happen. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Okay. Give me something you could share in a minute that a woman might need. And remember how I like to teach things. Sometimes it's the tactical. Sometimes it's just, hey, there's someone here for you to listen, right? So what's something, if you met a woman and she said, oh my God, I'm going through a divorce. I'm afraid I'm going to lose everything. What's something you'd want to tell her in an elevator ride?
I know you're overwhelmed, but there's not a lot of time that you need a little bit of financial literacy and a little bit of help, because I want you to make the best decisions that you can make so you have a more secure financial future.
Okay, I love that. Okay, let me tell you. Could you come up with, did you say financially fit? Is that what did you say? Okay,
yes.
Could you come up with 10 things that women should know to be financially fit?
Yes.
Could you come up with 12?
I can come up with 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, could you come up with, all right, let's just say, could you come up with 15 things women, one thing, this one thing? Know your bank accounts. Sometimes spouses have hidden bank accounts. Know the bank account, know the total amount of money you have. I don't know, I'm making it up, right? But could you come up with 15 that you could have one quick shot at, okay?
Yes.
Could you come up with 15 things that could help their heart?
Yes.
Okay, so.
And that's more important.
Of course it is, right? Today I went to my heart. This was my head. I couldn't help myself. I went to my heart, okay? But let me tell you, if Pam said, challenge me to get 1,000 followers in the next month, here's what I'd say. In the next 24 hours, Pam, and Pam, you can write this down. I challenge you to come up with 15 different topics on financially fit, like a headline. Talk about bank accounts, talk about this, talk about investments, and 15 things to help their heart. Okay? And then I'm going to challenge you to shoot 31-minute videos on those topics. You said you could do 15 of each. Go practice, go in a room, shoot 31-minute videos. Then, if they're a little bit over, you can go download, my team could probably tell you, an easy editing software, and you could always chop out a second or two. I'd get them all ready, and then I would post a new one in your social media every day for 30 days. Okay? That's just one. That's going more granular. Before you did that, though, I would say go inside mastermind.com and watch Alex Hermosi's training on social media. Okay? So go watch Alex Hermosi's training on social media. That's step one. Do that in the next 24 hours. Right? This is just the way I look at things when I want to change it, right? Secondly, I would come up with those 30 topics. And then I'd give yourself 3 days or 4 days, and I'd film all 30 videos. And then I would schedule that, and I would write killer posts that go along with it. And I would post that video to Facebook, and I'd post that video to Instagram. You might want to take, and whatever ones you like, or maybe you got a preference. But I would start posting them, while simultaneously, I would go into Facebook groups where women are going through divorce. And I would just get in there and start meeting people and say, hey, I'm doing this thing for 30 days. I'm giving 30 tips. I don't even have anything to sell right now. I'm giving 30 tips on how to be financially fit and emotionally fit during divorce. You can just go check it out on my Instagram. It's there. I'm going to post one every day. If you did those 4 steps, I promise you in a month from now, I'll call you up and be like, oh my God, I have 3 times the followers and people are leaving incredible comments. But sometimes we write down, I want more social media followers. Oh, let me go over here and do this other thing. We have to go deeper and set goals within goals with timelines. Does that make sense? This is how I get shit done. I'm just telling you, I go macro on the idea, and then I go, it's like, you guys know my 7 levels deep? Go 7 levels deep on what you need to do. Well, why would I do this? Oh, I want to follow Alex Hormozi. Alex Hormozi went from having nobody to just completely crushing it. And he's got these 3 strategies that he does, and he lays them out all in that training. That training's absolutely priceless. It's in there at mastermind.com. You guys have it. So I'd watch that. I'd make your plan. I'd lay out the 30. I'd post 1 a day. I'd go in Facebook groups to send people over. And then when you get brave and you start gaining confidence, I'd consider going live a bunch of times. Go live inside Mastermind. Go live inside the Mastermind and Mastermind Facebook group and share with what you do with people in there. You see, what happens sometimes, Pam, is we're good at something else, and when we come into something new, we kind of are a little afraid to start small, right? Not that I'm saying you're starting small, but we have this fear of like, I'm so good at, I got to start this new thing. We all got to start small, but with life experience and learning and being a part of a family like this, your stepping stones are that much bigger. You grow exponentially faster. It might have taken you 10 years to master a career that you currently had, and this could take you a year, but you still got to put a year in, right? You still got to put 6 months in, you still got to do the work. So today, that's my challenge for each of you. My challenge for each of you. Madalena, I see you shaking your head, right? My challenge is pick something that you had on your goals and go 7 levels deep just on that one thing and create action steps around that goal that you're going to do over the next 24 hours, the next week, the next month, the next 90 days, right? Somebody says, I want to lose 10 pounds, right? I want to lose 10 pounds for the New Year's, whatever it is, right? So many times I'll say, how? Like, oh, I'm just going to eat a little better. No. That hasn't worked for you in the last 12 months or the 24 months before that. You need a plan. What are you going to do? All right, tomorrow morning I'm getting up and I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to say no to bread. I'm not going to say no to everything. I'm just going to say no to bread. Or I'm going to say, and you just got to pick the things and stick to it. And then once that works, because here's what I know, Pam, if you really do that, I promise you're going to get momentum. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to be searching and go, this is addicting. What else can I do? Go watch Jenna Kutcher. She has a section in the course about building. I think Glow Atonmo talks about it, right? We got a bunch of courses in there. Go learn from people that are doing that, or learn from someone online, and then just keep putting one in play. And if your focus goes into expanding your social media, I promise you, in 30 days from now, you'll be like, oh my God, this works. But it's got to get our attention, it's got to get a plan, and it's got to have timelines. Does that sound cool? You up for the challenge?
Oh, absolutely. I'm doing it.
All right. Well,
I've already kind of started, but I need to really commit. Yes.
And go live inside the Facebook group. And listen, sometimes people will go live and go, only 2 people watched. It's okay. It's not always for them. It's also for you to get this cadence of feeling comfortable of being online. Everybody says to me, today, I just riffed on that first 40 minutes because it's in my heart. How do I get this comfortable on camera? Because I've been on camera almost every day for like 20 years. Like, I'm so used to this, and this studio, I built this to be, this is 3 years of getting to talk to you people face to face. Like, I feel like I'm in your living room, like I put myself in a different place. It makes it easier for me, but I had to get my reps in. I got my reps, right? It's like my daughter pitching. How's she gonna make varsity? She's gotta put her reps in. Like, literally, I told her last week, you know, the last thing I'll say, build the muscle, that's right. I'll tell you what I told my daughter this week, and I'll share this with some of you. You know what my daughter's biggest curse is? If she was listening, she'd kill me. Her biggest curse is she's a natural athlete. She has coordination up the ass. She is fit. She's 5'7". She's strong. Without practicing, my daughter is a 6 out of 10 pitcher. So what happened a lot of times in her life, she could take off 3 months, come back and still be the top pitcher on the team. Those days are over being on varsity. Natural talent just takes you so far. Then you have to put in the work. You have to put in the reps. You have to take the uncomfortable action. And that's where she's at. And I want to see if my daughter steps up. She is right now. She's here almost every day. I got a place for her to pitch in the office. She's here almost every day. And I'm proud of her. I want to see if she holds that strong. So know that our natural ability only takes us so far. We got to take that uncomfortable action. Pam, thank you for being such a great sport. We can't wait to hear your progress. Can't wait to see you live in the Facebook group. Everybody give it up for Pam. All right, guys. So, we covered today, when I first started, we talked about looking at our personal brand, kind of looking in the mirror with awareness. Where are some things that we need to catch on our own, that we need to see that there's things that we're doing or beliefs that we have that are truly holding us back, right? Are we aware of how we react or how we teach other people to react to us, right? The real brand isn't when things are going well. Our real brand is who we are when we're under pressure or when no one's watching. So how can we make some subtle adjustments when no one's watching that allow us to say, I'm congruent. I'm going to check myself on this one. I tell you, I just watched it in my personal life. And then we talked about, those tough days when you want to quit and no one's there. Maybe that's the day where you're paying your success tax and there's a greater power than us saying, is this a time they're going to quit and go settle? It's okay if you want, no judgment. Or is this the time you're going to step up and be brave and be bold? And maybe this conversation today can help you be a little more bold than usual. These are uncertain times. These are a little bit crazy times. I get it. And when you're uncertain, your confidence is down. Then borrow the confidence from this group. Borrow the confidence of the collectiveness of this amazing community. Get inside the Facebook group. Meet someone online here. Find an accountability partner. Go to the Mastermind Facebook group and just go live. If even one person watches it and just say, who am I? Who am I going to be? I'm not going to give up. Say it out to the universe. That's how we keep moving forward. And I'm going to be nudging you on a regular basis all year long, every month, every Monday, every week we're together, every month we're together, and we'll keep going strong. Lots of other surprises coming in Mastermind. Make sure mymmcalendar.com gives you the whole month of everything that's going on. mymmcalendar.com just tells you what's coming for the month. I appreciate you all. Thanks for being part of the family. See you next month.